Ah. I gotta, like, tell as many different discords and telegrams. Well, really, I only ever tell one telegram. I don't know any good telegrams to, like, hang out in that's not gonna be pissy with me being like, hi, how's everyone doing? And then, like, 4 hours later, hey, did you know that the following person is now live? Not many will do that. I respect that. It's not like there's, like, a... It's not like Discords where there's, like, a separate channel for self-promotion that people can just be like, I'ma mute this so I don't have to hear it unless I really wanted to know of, like, a random what's-a-mahoozy person that I might want to watch. I've never seen this himbo zebra before, but let's give it a try. Do you prefer subject or do you prefer omega? Because I don't know if I will just go forever subject omega. I feel like I am going to shorthand that. Although I'm going to be real with you, the more I think of, like, the more I say omega and such like that, it's going to take a bit of time for me before I not think of fucking omega from... Oh, not, sorry. Let me rephrase that. It will be a while before I'm not just thinking of the existing character, Omega. I should be really careful of not putting fucking in front of the, like, things that I say. I really need to be mindful of that. So, I don't know. I remember... I don't know where this source is, like, who said this properly first and stuff like that. I'll move over to the chatting screen just so then that way you get to see the lovely himbo me and all my muscles. But someone had the, like, it was a quote or the insight that the use of profanity was a demonstration, paradoxically, of a smarter mind, but an illiterate mind. Like, it was a demonstration of someone that was, like, lacking in words and such, despite, like, whatever kind of intellect they may have, because, you know, there is, like, proper... I'm so fucking illiterate, genius. I didn't even read that correctly. I'm so sorry, Valkyrie. I didn't even read that correctly when you wrote that. Like, hang on. I'm a fucking illiterate genius. Like, yeah, basically, because, like, it's one of those cases of you know where the curse, like, you know, fuck, shit, cunt, you know, like, any of those, like, insults would be, you know, applicable in whatever kind of, sentence you are structuring. But the thing is that, like, rather than being like, oh, I'm such a fucking genius, you could be like, oh, like, I am such an auteur genius or something like that. I don't know. Common English is your second language. If I don't know how to say something, I replace it with fuck or fucking. That's just how I roll. Excellent. Wait, what's the first one? Wait, no, hang on. I can guess this. The first one is... I've only communicated with Valkyrie, like, maybe once. The first language is... This will come to me, don't you worry, don't you worry. Finnish! I don't know if it's Finnish. That is just a random shot in the dark. I just didn't want to go with Spanish because I didn't think it would be Spanish. And I didn't want to go with Japanese because I didn't think it would be Japanese or Chinese. Let's just get... Nope, no, okay. I will... Don't worry. We're not gonna go down the list of, like, oh, what possible languages would Valkyrie's first one be? We won't do that. I think that it's a rude thing, isn't it? To, like, it's a rude thing to like guess people's language, isn't it? Or like not to guess their languages, but to sort of be like, oh, I can pick out where on the globe you are. I don't know. Like running it through my head again, I'm like, hang on, this is the start of like some racist nonsense of like trying to use your social ostracization skills to figure out where someone comes from. That's the thing that pops up in my head. But yeah, no. I appreciate you, like, writing in English as well, L, in the chat and what have you, so. Because there are some people where they will go with their first language first, and then they will, like, and then it's only when they're requested that they go to English or something like that. Also, hugs for everyone. There is a hug emote! Sorry, not a hug emote, but there's a hug command. Check this shit out. Hang on. Ding. Hug at subject omega. You got a feel good hug. There you go. It should be a hug that you should feel good about. Hey. So yeah. I have all kinds of like fun little thingy-madiggies in my this is a professional stream, might I add. This is one where blah 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 words, if I can do this properly. This is a stream where we have all kinds of... Hi there, Thor, and welcome to the stream! Welcome, welcome. We have all kinds of fun commands and such. Now, if I was a, you know, more scrupulous streamer, I would remember to be like, oh, hey, there are streamers in this chat, and I should be giving shoutouts. Or I become an even bigger professional and I get moderators to do it for me, but there's no moderators. So, we're going to give one out to Valkyrie Nixia. Am I pronouncing the last one correctly? Nixia? Hopefully I am. So that's the first one. I remember seeing a tweet where you're going to be going through Neo 2, so that one's going to be interesting. And then we go Thorin the Bull. I actually met Thorin, like, in VR chat, like, before I did streaming and shit like that. So it's kind of funky, like, 3 years late. Holy shit. Did we first meet each other 3 years ago? Or, like, just chatted with each other 3 years ago, I should say. Excuse me. So yeah, so we got Thorin. You're good on the Nixia? Nice. Awesome. Cool. I want to try and get that shit right. I feel like, you know, like everyone's like, you know, complaining about snowflakes and it's like, oh, they changed their names, they changed their pronouns. It's like, no, it's just a courteous thing. Like, ask. Like, cause let's be real, if you saw me in real life, you wouldn't just be like, hey, Jimbo. Like, my name's not Jim in real life, and then get pissy with me when I decide to tell you my name. It's one of those things of, like, you know, we try and get it right. And then, you know, if I am a, you know, no, that's not the word I want. If I am a word... Also, it's getting dark. I did not think this through. Hang on a second. I didn't turn on my office light. It's getting, like, we're going from, like, spring to, we're getting from summer to fall in Australia, so the nighttime will actually be getting quicker, which means that the sun will go down quicker. God, I like the thing where you have little characters fighting in stream. It's pretty cute. Thank you. That was done by... So that is something I found on itch.io that a lot of people were using as well, called intro fighters. And you can have like all different kinds of game modes, like King of the Hill and what you as well. I like having it on for the start screen, the raid screen, the just chatting screen, and it will pop up while an advertisement is running. The intention, like, the idea was supposed to be that if not, because, like, my advertisements do go on for a little bit of time. They're, like, I think they're, like, pretty lengthy now. They're, like, a minute and a half or something like that to make it so that there's, like, a full hour of no, no advertisement or something, like, pre-roll. Hi there, Xerix. Welcome to the stream. So, these things, like, pop up there. Actually, one of the more recent stuff I've started... Hang on a sec, I need to... So, there is a closed caption natively in Twitch, but the thing I've noticed is, number one, the font is absolutely terrible, and number two, it doesn't catch my accent very well, despite the fact that, you know, it's this American nonsense. But it might be because there's like a mixture of Canadian and Australian in there as well, which is why I got myself, so I found this out from watching one of CDog VA's live streams, and they were like, oh, ignore the gray thingy-majiggy at the bottom. It's the closed caption settings. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I looked at the closed caption, because they were originally making a joke of like, oh, he's Welsh. It probably might not catch his accent very well when he says some of the things. But it looked really good. And I was like, oh shit, I wonder what this is. They never said what it was. So I had to like hack the mainframe and just go F12, check the, hope, pray that whatever decided to make it was going to give itself a proper name, and it did. It's called, exposing myself to sulfuric gas because I'm crushing an onion. Fun fact, if the onion is wet and your hands are wet, the acid, the sulfuric like gas won't get into your eyes and what have you. So long as you don't blink and your hands in the onion are wet, you should be good. Does Intro Fighters have a platform fighter mode, you wonder? Maybe. I haven't, like, you know, looked into it and what have you. But yeah, for any of you that are streamers that want, like, a little more sort of compatibility where people can change the font and have a more accurate recognition, I should say, you know, a better recognition of what's being said, then ultimatecc.net was what I found. And crazy enough, hang on a second, let's see if I go here. All right, yeah, so it says 7 channels are currently using it. Hey, I'm one of those. There is not that many channels. There are not that many channels that are utilizing this feature, and it's crazy to think how good, like how accurate it's recognizing my voice. I'm not too sure if there is a better one than this so far, because what I want to do is, because I really love that it's a Twitch overlay. Like, I can't see it on my end, but if you're in my channel, then you can see it. I don't know if it's there for mobile users. If any of you are on mobile, let me know. But yeah, I think it's really good. What's more is it's not like, you know, very little text in the closed caption. It's like a fairly, you know, decent chunk of text, so then that way it's not a pain to read. Alrighty. I've sent in my notifications. I can close that tab. I could move you back over here. Actually, yes, back over there. Yeah, so right now I have to keep the webpage Ultimate CC open. It uses like only 60 megabytes of my memory, and it's just listening to my microphone this entire time. You see it on mobile, it's the plugin section. Okay, so does it show for you the entire like, are you able to watch my feed and type in the chat, or is it one of those cases of you can only watch my feed and the closed caption? You can't like contribute to chat. It works pretty good. All right, that's good. I like. All right, if it's working for people, that's good. One or the other. Okay. All right, that's a shame. Because either the feed or the captions, radio. So yeah, because I guess like that's the. Yeah. But Twitch Mobile is just like that. Would Twitch's closed caption, because I've still got that turned on, would Twitch's closed caption be like in the video, like transcoded, and then you could still see the chat feed? Or is there no closed caption in the Twitch video? This is some really great troubleshooting. Right now, I am in like desktop support mine. I did not have to work today. I had just wasted my time playing Final Fantasy XIV. I wasted so much time on Final Fantasy XIV, but it was all in the efforts of trying to increase the level of my paladin, because I want my paladin up to level 80. Yes, 80. I want it up to level 80, so then that way when we get to Endwalker, we have an option of 4 different tanks we can go for. And I'm kind of, you know, siding on the Paladin because that's like sort of the what looks to be the poster child of the class to play while an Endwalker. You've seen the Endwalker trailer or something where it's like, you know, Ardbert's like on the who's supposed to be the Warrior of Light in this case. He's on the moon, he makes a footprint on the moon, and then he like looks, and he's got a cloak, and then he like pulls his sword out and reveals himself in the fucking sword and shield, and he's just all majestic and shiny. You ain't seeing a closed caption thing for mobile. Okay, so this makes... Alright, well in that case, that means this is even better than Twitch's built-in closed caption, because it's a closed caption that is available even to mobile users. Yay! That works for me. Alrighty then. Alright, let's get over to the... Do not worry about the GrantZeebs. I don't know how to make it again. I would love to do, like, Blender shit again, but one of the shorthands... Also, I need to stop the music in the background because there's no need for that while there's music in the game. But yeah, one of the things I did earlier this year was I made my own mechanical keyboard. It's really great. I love it. It's a little bit hefty. Like, listen to this. You ready for this? I'm probably gonna break my mic. Jesus. So that was my keyboard. It's a heavy motherfucker, is what it is. I probably should have warned headphone users of, warning, you're about to hear a keyboard fall all on the floor, or fall on the computer. This is not your keyboard, this is not your computer. I probably should have done that earlier. But yeah, so, hang on, exit out. Did I just break my... Okay, cool. I was worried for a second I broke the... I was worried I broke the sound settings. Chat, can you hear me? Are you still there? Omega! Oh, Lord. Yes! Awesome. Cool. Alright. Camera bobbing. While walking, bob and... reduce flickering visuals. Reduces rate and intensity of flicking. You know, that's nice that they've given you the tumble. Hiding. Close eyes when inside a tumbling car. Fade screen when entering or exit the car. Darken the edges. Determine when the vignette starts. Auto-centering. Color deficiency. Loot highlight. High visibility loot. Crosshair fade. Conveniences. Alright, we're not going to do any of the conveniences, but what we are going to do is lower the sound effects and the music. I'm probably going to make the sound effects just a little bit lower than the music, and we're going to keep the dialogue up to max. Twitch Mobile really has a lot of downgrades. It's so bad that someone recommended I try Twitch on my smart TV. Do it. Put me on the big screen. Put me in 4K quality, despite the fact that Twitch does not have any 4K capabilities. Put me into 4K so you can see all these stripes. It'd be so good. Radio dialogue, volume, auto processing. Disable copyrighted music from playing on the no. Hi, Sir Dragon. Look, I get why this is being added. I get why the streamer safe mode is, but this is my biggest pet peeve right now. If you've licensed the music to be played in your game, like, just... music producers, okay? You've gone through this fight so fucking often, but, like, in the legal battles that you've had about your copyright infringement and shit, emulation is not copyright infringement. There's only so far you can go, and if you're really, really fucking looking for money, work on getting a small copyright claims appeals court. It doesn't cost us millions of dollars to have your music being seen all around the world. It takes an internet connection, which is sometimes cheaper than the fucking music in the first place. This setting here, streamer safe mode of like, oh, we're disabling the copyrighted music from playing on the radio. This exists because we have, like, you know, anytime streaming is done, we haven't yet created the, you know, the precedent in, like, legal precedent, I should say. There hasn't been the legal precedent that streaming, when there's, like, a person involved or anything like that, should be seen as either transformative or parodied work. And the reason for that is because some people make the argument of like, oh, it's not enough that, you know, the thing you've made and all this kind of shit being presented to a live audience with barely any money involved is able to, like, you know, be captured. Because here's the thing, like, YouTubers and Twitch need a fair use safe bubble for music. YouTube has here's the thing. YouTube has gone ahead of the curve with this, because right now Twitch's response to this is anytime, like, Twitch's copyright infringement, like, policy, and this isn't to music, it's anything copywritten. This is to, you know, MFUC, UFC games, football, music concerts, live audiences, TV shows, movies, yada, yada, yada. Twitch's policy is they do not police it unless they are reported. So, and the thing is that, like, you know, it's only when it gets reported by the copyright holders. Which means that there's some schmuck over at Universal Music Studios that is probably having, like, hundreds or however many Twitch streams they can have available to them. And then if there's copyrighted music playing, then the intern has to go, sir, we need to get a lawyer. He has the rights to copyright claim this. And then the lawyer logs into Twitch, and it's like, oh, I gotta use my 2FA. And then they report the stream, and then Twitch is like, okay, thank you for the reporting. Goes to the stream, and it's like, we can confirm we can hear this music too. We are now going to stop the stream. Boom. Like, that's Twitch's policy. And the reason they do that is because if there is evidence of Twitch proactively policing their streams and failing, they can be in more legal repercussion for instances of failing to police than they are right now. Because if a copyright holder tries to sue Twitch for being like, oh, like, you know, copyright infringement, it's like, no. Twitch falls under safe harbor, where Twitch cannot be held liable for copyright infringement because they're just a service provider. You have to provide evidence that Twitch has actually, you know, prevented you from reporting the copyright, in which case the lawyers back at, like, whatever music studio go, technically we haven't tried. And so then the judge is like, cringe, do your job. And so that's where we are now. It's not a great system. But the reason it exists this way is because Twitch is not making money right now, and for them to create a system to actively check for copyright infringement means that they would have to have a system similar to YouTube and Facebook right now to try and, you know, find when music is copyright infringed and what have you. YouTube, and what's more is, like, they would then have to negotiate of like, oh, we have this collection of music, we're gonna use this to try and find your streams and what have you. And the thing is Twitch does not want their streams stopping. If Twitch is making money from you and you're, you know, not getting in trouble by the law, Twitch still wants your money. It's only when you become such a problem that you bring, like, lawyers on Twitch's doorstep that Twitch will then go, cringe, and then just, you know, boot you off. Which, you know, to the larger streamers where it's like, oh, you get a 2-week ban, they're like, lol, that's great. I'll come back 2 weeks later with far more viewers than ever before, and this will be a blip in my income because I get way more of my money through brand deals than I do from you guys. And they're like, okay. Meanwhile, me, small time streamer, 2 weeks is a fucking pain because I don't have those kinds of contractual deals. I'm not being sponsored by, you know, Himbo Energies or Big Dicks Online or anything like that. I don't have any of those sponsorships. Someone had to jump through hoops to make the music available for everyone. So, what ends up... Meanwhile, over on the YouTube side, they went ahead of the curve on this. And this is a system that I think has been existing for like half a decade now. Maybe more. But they have, you know, a content ID system. And the idea is simple. YouTube has a collection of all the music that is copywritten. Now, ideally, it's one of those ones of like, oh, this music has been distributed under a license. Universal Pictures or whoever distributed it, we got a copy of it, and because we have to, you know, transcode every video that comes onto our servers before we hold on to it, we're able to, like, you know, analyze like 3 seconds and find out whether or not it's a song that's actually in the archive. And the benefit that YouTube gives is, oh hey, if this is just a video that's just, you know, let's say, for example, it's some cousin's wedding or birthday and the music is just in the background, it doesn't throw you like copyright infringement, you're gonna have to pay thousands of dollars. It just makes it a case of, look, you're not gonna get any money from it. The money is gonna go either into escrow or you're not with our creators program, in which case it's just gonna go to the copyright holders themselves. The system only gets difficult when you're a big time streamer who's making money through advertisements and subscribers and what have you, and the music gets popped up on your channel. So, yeah. So this streamer safe mode is less for, like, Twitch streamers, where Twitch's policy is they couldn't give a fuck if you're playing copyrighted music or not, just so long as, you know, you don't make it so obvious that the copyright holders are able to find you with no troubles. This is more for YouTube channels, where YouTubers are, you know, normally either just doing a VOD upload like me, where the video itself might not be seen as transformative as shit. This is for YouTubers who don't have an editor wanting to, like, deal with the, oh, there's copyrighted music in the background and this, like, fucks up this segment that this streamer is talking about. Hi there, Code. Welcome to the stream. So, like, this streamer safe mode, I hate it. It's a dumb system. Because because, like, here's the thing, is that this just gets used as a, oh, we just remove copyright music entirely. It's, like, no point. Because if it's original music for the game, then it should fall under the same sort of, like, you know, freedom of usage on stream and videos and shit like that, where it's part of the game, and unless you were going to copyright infringe on the person just playing the game full stop, don't fuck around with the music, much like they did with fucking Kingdom Hearts. Cookie for Jason. Meanwhile, what's up, Code? Welcome to the game that is Long Drive on Crack with a story. Excellent. Also, hi there, Moto. Ah, no! I just went on a huge fucking rant about how I do not like games that, like, I understand why they have, like, oh, here's a streamer safe mode for music. It's like, no. Like, technically speaking, like, streamers have no legal protection to playing the video games full stop. Like, the copyright holders of the video games themselves can hit you with a cease and desist and a copyright strike and shit like that, but they don't, because they understand that watching the game is not the same as experiencing a game, and this is, you know, this is advertisement for the game. So there's no point in copyright striking it because they're getting free advertisement. Meanwhile, music holders are living in the fucking 1970s thinking, oh, some guy is wasting away millions of dollars of our recording equipment to make themselves, like, tens of thousands of dollars by having, you know, bootleg cassette tapes and CD players. It's like, no. This shit right here, this isn't gonna be making me more money than you're making right now. And the people that were not listening to your copyrighted music before probably are not going to be experiencing it while me, GrantZeebs, is playing this game. your argument for this being seen as like a lost income or some shit like that falls very short very quickly if you ask a group of people, hey, would you experience the music with me? Like, what the fuck am I listening to right now? Okay, are we left side of the road or right side of the road? I think we're right side of the road because we're in the United States, technically speaking. Also, I need to check the light was on. And then, is there some way for me to check the map? Oh, Jesus. Okay, lights on.
Sulfur and smoke.
A little loud, but it's fine.
Through the snow.
It shouldn't be, like, louder than me. It's, like, barely hitting the yellow. Goes down whenever you talk. That's the idea. The idea is that, you know, if the quality of the thingamadiggy, like, if I'm not saying anything, we have the, you know, means of being able to, like, listen to it entirely and not having to raise the volume or anything like that. And then when I start talking, it doesn't, like, override me and shit. So, like, it shouldn't be, but it shouldn't be loud in a sense that, like, you know, if I wasn't, like, me talking and this game, like, ruins your ears. So, I don't know. Audio balancing is a very fickle thing. Also, I need to, like, there's gotta be a way to... Track. I have no fucking clue what track it is. It is a bit loud. Like... Let's go 50.
Ghost on the road.
The game capture goes at, like... I wonder if OBS just has a really shit... I already had my headlights on. I wonder if OBS has, like, a really shit sort of, like, audio monitor where it doesn't really tell me, like, what the actual volume is. It just gives me the waveform, but it's, like, gives me the loudest waveform. It's normal for some games when you have voice chat enabled. There goes the... We've lost the music. Oh, you're talking about, like, the communication audio ducking thing. I hope that I can't replace music with Eurobeats in this game, or I'll be playing Tokyo Drift. I don't know... Oh, the fuck was that? There's, like, no... Thank you. Ooh! Dog! You're near the wall. The wall. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a very big fucking wall. Oh, hang on. This is... There's a lot of, like, funky nonsense going on. Oh, so yeah, there's a himbo meter. I forgot to share that earlier. Good work on 65%. These are some, like, fucking non-Euclidean sort of horrors here. Do you ever think how ridiculous that is? Like, quote-unquote non-Euclidean horrors? Oh. Sorry. Oh, okay. That's why the radio barked out. That would explain it. Oh! I will say this right now. No spoilers, please. no backseat gaming. I understand this is a survival horror. I understand there's like a necessity of like being aware of your surroundings in some regard to be like, oh hey, resources can be found here, or watch out for this bile titan, but because this is a very story-driven game, I would rather not, like, short of me asking, please don't share. Like, we can, like, talk about the past. The Dumbledore deadens. Spoiler alert, I don't care for Harry Potter anymore. Wait, is that shift or is that cap lock? Okay, cool, it is shift. So yeah, so... Alright, I'm guessing... Oh, it's part of my car because that's the engine. I don't think it's supposed to be sitting outside the car. This isn't, like, we're not going for, like, a Mad Max Fury Road sort of design. We're going for a station wagon. Can I pick up any of these things? No. And I don't really have a full understanding as to, like, what is geometry that is, you know, fine, quote-unquote, and what is geometry that is gonna kill me. Like, for all I know, I'm just oozing in Chernobyl-level radiation right now. It will buff out. Yes, sure. This will buff out. Don't you worry, chat. This here will buff out, alright? We just need to, like, you know, give it a little scrub, little elbow grease, and then we just slam the door closed. It will all kill you. It will kill me everything. Didn't we talk about your physics? Stop making carpets float. I don't have any... I'm not one of those weird furries that's like, oh, I'm 15 feet tall. I have the power to spew venom out of my glands and control peoples with my mind. On one single finger, I'm able to, like, lift up planets. And it's Thanos, and the Mad Titan has no means of, you know, fucking me up, because I would be so quick to bend them over and fist them myself. Like, I'm not one of those furries. Like, I understand power trips might be a fun, like, power fantasies might be a... Oh, fuck you, Code. I actually did turn around, expecting something. No, but you can inflate. No. Chat's the eldritch beings. I'm just a lowly warlock in this hellscape of Twitch. I'm just like, my patrons are this eldritch being that likes to be identified as they, them, until they want to provide me with a singular identity for me to communicate with directly, and they are what give me my powers and my D10 of, like, Eldritch Blast. Thank you for the hyper himbo, by the by, Sir Dragon. Ooh, kick. Seriously, there's no foot. There's no foot! How am I kicking? Is this the... Do I actually have radiation powers already? Like... Oh. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe Twitch is too compressed for it, but, like, it looks like there's static on my view already.
Hello? Someone out there? Hello? I could have sworn never mind. Francis, the radar's acting up again. You were supposed to tune up this piece of junk years ago.
Alright. Nice try. Alright, so we got a tire. There's no lid. There's no door. There's a number... Oh my god, look at that beer. Look at this high quality beer. Ooh, rocket. This is honestly like a really good quality beer, let me be real with you. There's no need for it to be like hyper crazy, and this is Melick HT Washington 90... Wait. Did we have cars of this quality in 1947? I don't remember the night. This is a World War II era car you're talking about here. It's a fucking station wagon. This is like pinnacle 60s and 70s, not 1940s. That light was blinking, then shut off when you approached. Yes, it did. There we go.
Wait, is that... Oh, the signal. Yes, it's back. It's back. This is to
Oh, we have to...
Paulo and
Oh my
Francisco,
god, are you...
located in mid-zone sector B. Do you read me? I'm picking up your distress signal
We are...
in the outer zone. It looks like you're somewhere around sector E. Hey, Francis, come here. Yes, it's urgent. Leave that interferometer alone for a second. Something is out there.
Ooh, hang on. Oh, that's cool. Also, I just left the car in, like, drive when I did that,
hey,
so...
do you copy? Hello? Hello? Is this thing working?
They don't have a transmitter.
Hi there, Lou. Welcome to the stream.
What if they're
It's late for you. Welcome, welcome.
They're from outside? They're a preacher? Hey, how did you get through the barrier wall? No one's gotten into the zone in ages and lived to tell about it.
And if we don't
drove
get them to
here.
safety, this one won't either.
Okay,
good
granted,
point.
they're probably on the radio,
Hey,
so...
you're in serious danger. The instability's closing in, and it's gonna scramble you quicker than beef in a blender. Your closest shelter is a few miles east. Get there however you can, and be quick about it.
Alrighty. Put it in park this time. I need a fuel can. That's a traffic cone. Oh, hello. Okay, so you're just sitting in there, are you? Siphon fuel from the broken down car. Okay. I can't see oh, there it is. Alright. And 100%. There we go. Which side is the fuel cap? There it is. Is there even fuel on that? Well, apparently there was. Insomnia hit hard for you, Lou? Fair enough, fair enough. Can I get more? Because, you know, I imagine... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Okay. Put it into drive, and let's get moving. It looks like it hurts.
Whoa, wait, hold the phone. There it is again, that blip on the spectrometer. I've seen that waveform before, but where? No kidding. Could it be? A remnant?
That can't be. There hasn't been one in decades.
Look at that spectral fingerprint and tell me that doesn't match the remnants exactly.
No. What we should be looking at is how fast this creature seems to be moving.
Huh. You know, if I didn't
I'm
know
in a
better,
car.
I'd say
That's
they're
probably
going
why
about the
I'm
speed
going
of
so fast.
No way, do not tell me. They found a remnant and it's a car this time? Holy cripes! No one's had working wheels in here for ages. Boy, I'd kill to know how a combustion engine's still chugging away out there.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
First,
the creature needs to get to safety. Then we can look into whether that car is a remnant or not.
In my heart of hearts, I already know. They're back, baby.
Ow. Okay. Radiation.
When you find that shelter, go on and let yourself in. Oppie ain't gonna like you poking around in there, but better to face a
Okay,
bad
so I have
side
half
than
a
let
tank
the
of
zone eat you
gas.
alive.
They told me to go east. So, we're gonna go east. But yeah, how dare you deflate the himbo Zeebs? Look, if you want to inflate me again, it's gonna cost you like 69 cheer, or you use like channel points to do it. Alright, now, ooh, going. Oh, Jesus. No, we can't be going west. We need to be going east. Unless... Oh! Thank you for the 69 bits code. Thank you for demonstrating it. Alright, this must be... Alright, can I put this away? Yes, I can. Cool. Okay. We're gonna need a flashlight at some point. Okay, I can jump. So... Oop. Oh, there's a light. Oh, I probably was supposed to come in from this side. Hello? Close the door while we're at it. Flip the breaker. Pick up the backpack from the table. Oh, this backpack.
Who's there? Oh, the shop. God, it's been breached. You've got 5 seconds to get the hell out before I... Ow! My head. It's an emergency broadcast.
Hello, attention. This message is for Dr. Ophelia Turner. We've sent a breacher to your garage on, official zone business. Now, we have it on very good authority that this person is in possession of a remnant, which has taken the form of a car, and, well,
Off the remnant thing. She's not gonna care.
right, like I said, super official
Oh,
zone
shit,
business.
that did not... Hang on.
Protocol, demands that you keep them alive until we can get them to safety. Now, if you do not comply, I will occupy this broadcast channel with a recitation of the entire collection of poems I've personally written. That's 10 years and 17 volumes, and...
Don't let that voice cuss like a
Pick up the
nail gun to
mechanics
the skull.
Oh, there it is. This thing?
So,
Oh, hello!
another breacher, huh?
Tend to your
How do
wounds at the
you
first aid
outsiders
station.
not
Alright, cool.
understand
I'm
that
miss.
I
Wait, am I
built
missing?
that
Oh, I am
300
missing a
meter
tire. How the
wall out
fuck
there
did
for
that
fun?
happen?
Unless you're one of the unfortunates who got
Okay.
zapped through. Wait, I just remembered.
There we go.
I don't give a damn why or how you got here. You're trespassing, and I'd kindly like you to get the hell out of my zone.
Put the wheel back on. Where did the
Ah,
wheel?
God, unfortunately.
Okay, here's a wheel.
The barrier wall is as fortified against breachers trying to get in as it is against anyone or anything trying to leave. We have to find you a way out. So you might as well start by fixing up
There
that
we go.
car. Just don't break anything in my shop with those soft hands of yours.
Alright, so we need a crude door. Oh, so we can, like... Okay. Oh, okay. Alright, and then... And then tab. Okay, cool. So this gives us... fix the car. So we need to find a crude door. And... apparently we can find one there, apparently? Okay, car's ability. Certain components and equipment that you... while in the driver's seat, you can steer, brake, reverse, shift between park and drive, and of course, turn the ignition key. You can also toggle radio, honk the horn. You can remap these thingamadiggies later on. Okay, so... we've got, like, 3 different people we can hear on the radio. One that, like, manages the... Alright, so they're not going to let us open it from there. One that seems to, like, be the quote-unquote owner of this shop, and the other is the... what's-a-mahoo's, and there's, like, 2 other peeps. She sounds like Archer's mom, Valerie? Or, Mallory, sorry. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so... also, I didn't really... logbook. Ooh, hello. Tools. So we got the first aid kit. We got a scrapper. A pry bar. Doors. Steel and crude doors are... so... scrap metal, plastic, duct tape, and some glass shard. Okay, so there's a... Jesus Christ, there's a lot of crafting. Movement and interaction. The auto shop is your pay... You're safe here, so you can take your time between drives to fix up the car, craft parts, and research new things. Parking sensor. Or it may just be a white sensor. What's to know? Maybe the most advanced. Hang on a second. No, don't make me bald! Alright, hang on. Let me see if I can... There we go. Alrighty, so now that's okay. So that's just to when it's parked and shit. All right. So yeah, that's the OS. Tools, first aid kit, fuel can, battery, mechanics, repair, equipment. Oppies, custom build. There's so many, like, am I supposed to be looking at all these, or? Blueprints, here we go. Crude door. Okay, so it wants me to pin that to the checklist. Repair, copy, pry bar. Tear into anything and everything out there with this homemade tool. Reduces items to raw materials in moments and walk away feeling mighty. Alright. We can't pin it to the checklist. Dink. Summer tires. And a spare tire. Okay. Cool. Okay, so I just need to go through this a little bit slowly. Alright. Oh, hey, it's got like a little system to it. Okay. Wait, can I... There we go. There we are. Alright. So we got duct tape, we got a crowbar. Oh, wait, hang on. We put the crowbar in our hand, okay. And then... Alright. A little bit manual, but that's okay. Can we just, like... Yeah, okay, so we can... So we can transfer stuff, like, real quick and easy. There we are. Go. And then... Gather items from the abandoned car behind for your checklist. Yep, cool. So... Ooh, hello. So, summertime there. Ah, but we can't, like... We can't pry it off. Alright, so we gotta, like, look around the dumps. Okay. Dumpster. Oh. Oh, okay. Road flares. Alright. Yeah. Oh, so we can get, like, fuel there if we want it. Okay. Wheels, panels, and doors. Cool. Is there a limit to... it looks like there's a limit. I can see a little gauge under the scrapper itself, so it's probably gonna, like... There we go. Can't get to the door. Gather items from the abandoned car. Scrap the abandoned cars. Oh, panel. Here we are. So there's still more of the car to, you know, go through. Alright, we just need plastic. Check the ground and the trunk for remaining material. Okay. Oh. Okay, never mind. I guess the little cap that was on the floor wasn't helpful. I need a flashlight to see. Hang on. Hi there, Masonic. Welcome to the stream. Moto. Stop. I understand your meaning well, but like I look and you're doing it. There we go. Batteries. Copper wire. Okay, so I guess... Alright, so if the item pops up in, like, the bar thingy-majiggy, then I can do scrapping and shit. Why is it still telling me to search the dumpster? Yep, cool. Craft a crude door. Alright, so we can go here. Crude door. Scrap, plastic, yep, cool. Alright, that gives us a door. That is kind of hilarious if I can just... Yep, that works for me. Pair buddy from the locker. Alright, hang on. So we're gonna move you to here. Spare tire you will drop. Alrighty. And then we should be... Let's see. Can we put this spare tire in here? It's very fun to know every ins and outs of a game and watch someone experience all of it for the first time. Thank you, Subject Omega. It's a pretty good place for a horror game. Never know what hides behind the piles of trash. There, you know what? There was actually a, Have you guys seen Love, Death, and Robots? Have you guys seen that? It's sort of like this anthology of different kinds of animations. It can be a mixture of 3D and 2D, and the premise is the whole, you know, it's usually like something sci-fi, and it could be, you know, like the premise, love, death, or robots. There was one episode where it's just some dude who owns a fucking dump, and there's a creature that is just made of all the junk around, like in and around the dump. And he's like tried very hard to get rid of it and shit, and he obviously couldn't. Essentials. Something the dumpster knows best. The friendly dumpster wouldn't be your best pal in all the zone if it wasn't handing out things that it thinks you really, really need. Things you definitely, certainly should keep in order to safely make it through the next leg of your journey. Best pal to be continued. Workbench, friendly dumpster. Alright, cool, cool. And then 9-volt battery, chemicals, copper, electric, and glass shards. The game being game stumbles is always awkward. The game beginning is always awkward, but that's the charm. That's the charm of watching it. Is like is either you've played this before and you look back and you're like, oh, I see how, you know, this person struggles here, or maybe they They do better there, yada yada.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
care
equip
what
the
gender
putty.
you are. Put on the maid outfit.
Darn you, Blue! Also, where's the repair putty? You got me distracted. Where's the duct tape? There, chemicals? No, where's the... Ah, repair putty, here we go. Use the repair buddy to repair the car. Okay. What are critical... Weird. Oh, steel panel, that could be... Alright, what are some... Oh, tire and door. So, that needs to be repaired. And this needs to be repaired. So many cactar. They deal so much damage. Always. Alright, so... Yep, and then our door. This one. Alright, so that's one. And then, yep, it goes up. What's a... Right panel, that's a critical. There we go. We have no... Alright, so no door on the back right. Back left can do another repair. Do I have a name for a car? The car is a...
Pull the lever, Gronk.
Scan the flat tire? Repair the flat by crafting and using a sealing kit. Replace the flat with a spare tire found in the locker. Good news. I found the spare tire. And now we just...
Onyx_Severus paid me to say Grant cute.
Grant not cute. Alright, hang on. Put you there. And then... Cookie from a Sonic! There we go. Loose wheel. Ah, because it came loose last time, yeah. Nope, nope, nope. Alright, what's the mechanics kit? Here it is. I'm just like an Adaptus Mechanicus just then. I was just like... You know what? That's probably what this is I'm just an Adaptus Mechanicus over on fucking Mars. I'm just like, okay, boom. Just like throwing paint because that might fix something. Tapping the tire with random tools because one of them must certainly work. Install cardboard boxes in the trunk. Craft. Oh, there we go. Craft mat. And then...
Oh, there's a little prototype of mine in the garage. The Arc device. Hook it up to your car.
Cool.
This beauty won't just be your tour guide. It's your North Star and the only way back to safety. Heck, you should consider it the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit if you plan on staying alive. That's how important this thing will be to you. Yes, that's my very own invention. I'll tell you more about it if you live long enough to use it.
Alright, well, the thing is currently stable. Pick up the car blueprint. Gear. Oh, Jesus, fuck. And an impact. No, don't de-himbo me! How dare you, furry no. How dare you, Blue? I don't know why. Both of you are just on my shit list. Shout you out. Or no, that's not shouting you out. That's just demonstrating how cute you are. Look how cute you are. 999%. There is no other metric. Look at the cutiness. Oh, they're gone. Look, 99 point... So, 9999. Like, really high percentage. I also have a clip shout out. Check this shit out.
Wait, which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6?
2.
Thanks for the offer. My brain is too much to be seen tonight.
Insert cash.
All
or
good.
select payment type.
Number
Use
5.
PayPal
Okay.
No,
we're
2.
picking
I
number
said
5.
2.
I'm going like.
See, if you picked 2,
I'm
like
going
I
last.
said, you would have won that one. He doesn't listen to me.
Okay, I have a.
He doesn't listen to me. He should listen to me. I am invaluable in the game of like chance. I'm trying to play dominoes. Do you know how to play dominoes? All right, cool. So tank's full. We're about as prepared as we can be. Throw the switch to charge the battery. Crunk, pull the lever.
If you're all set, take a look at the projector against the wall.
Oh, this one.
This is the zone.
Pull the lever.
Within these quarters,
No, not the...
matter has lost the ability to hold a constant physical state. What that means...
You learn how to play
is the shape,
Hanafuda
size,
more
and makeup
than
of just
dominoes?
about everything
Well,
constantly
I'm gonna be real
changes.
with you. Dominoes, I feel like, is a lot easier to play than
Hanafuda.
Hanafuda.
Blink of an eye, and it does.
Oh, what'd she say?
Constantly. It's caused by something we call instability. We're completely surrounded by it, and once you've watched it chew through entire mountain ranges, you'll understand that you don't want to get anywhere near it.
Okay.
We can only survive in here within pockets of stability. That's what you're standing in now.
Hey,
And that's what
I
you
look
see
absolutely
mapped on the
disgusting
route
without
planner.
my muscles.
If we're going to find
How
your
dare
way
you,
out of
Flu?
the zone,
How dare you
you'll
steal
need to
my
build a new
maid top?
antenna. Until then, you won't be able to detect stabilized routes beyond your immediate area. So, you've got to go hunting for parts, and that means taking a drive. Go on, pick a route. The arc device in your car will then show you where you need to go.
Hana what now? Hanafuda. Not Futa. Not Fuda. Fuda. F-U-D-A. It's, Blue wrote it earlier. It's basically, you know, have you ever watched Summer Wars? It's that game where there's cards or something like that, and then you like slap them down, and then it's like some sort of card game, and then you like click the thing, and it's like koi koi, and then koi koi. Why did your message double? Because your message had the phrase "want to fuck me," and the auto mod decided to be like, that might be a bit too much for this stream, but we're a sex X positive sort of stream, so we didn't have much of an issue with the phrase "A's want to fuck me." So yeah, Summer Wars is an amazing animated movie. I highly recommend it.
Off you go.
Digimon
Make a
took
left
the
out of the
plot
garage, follow
of
the
Summer
access road.
Wars and they condensed it down to like a 30-minute episode or something like that. But Summer Wars is a good movie, and it actually had a pretty forward, like, when did Summer Wars release? Because I feel like the Japanese, like, whenever they're being creative in their animes and shit, things such as like Blue something or rather, like that and Summer Wars, I feel like they've kind of gotten the right idea to 2009. Oh, okay, so maybe not that forward thing. Wait, 2009? Hang on, that's what? No. Summer Wars. No. What? Okay, so when did... Hang on, so Digimon... So then Digimon the movie came out in What? Oh. Oh my god. Okay. No. Here's the thing. The plot of Digimon Adventure, our war game, like, very much is sort of the same as Summer Wars from 2000. Hang on a second. I need to read through this. After producing The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, West has some new Hoshida and no, tell me if the plot was inspired by something. Most of the film is set in real was marketing, reception. Okay. But I was in primary school when the Digimon movie came out. Look, the Digimon slapped. All right, like Digimon was a great watch, and I remember the Digimon movie was fairly good. All right, let me tell you, the Digimon movie was pretty good. There was like 3 or 4 different stories in there. Didn't even know that existed. What, the Digimon movie? There's Summer Wars. I will like forgive you for the Summer Wars because, you know, depending on where you are in like the Western civilization and shit, most of anime didn't get popular until, you know, 2000s and 2010s plus, I would say. And the reason for, and like, fun fact, the reason why anime started getting popular in the West is because of piracy. That is no lie. Japanese publishers did not see a reason to try and do translations or distribution of VHSs of their content over into Western markets like the US or Canada or anything like that. It's only because of, like, you know, American expats and travelers that went to Japan, watched the things, and brought it back, and they were like, hey, nephew, have you ever heard of Dragon Ball? It's so fucking cool. The kid's got a tail. It's only because of shit like that happening that they were like, why are you pirating this shit? And then and they were like, it's going to America. And they're like, who the fuck in America is watching this shit? And then, fun fact, everyone in America is watching that shit. And then, you know, they saw the success and they were like, okay, maybe we should negotiate, like, trying to get it shown and shit like that. That's how piracy works. Piracy is a service issue. It is, Moto Tank. You are correct. Dude, start reminding me I'm old as dirt. You ain't old as dirt. Don't be ridiculous. All right, so we now need to get in the car and we need to start driving. All right. Okay, cool. So this thing will turn around. All right. And then get on the road. Over into drive. Huh? There we go. Thank goodness this car doesn't break down when I decided to, like, you know, force it into drive and then start it up. Most cars wouldn't let you do that shit. Most cars would not be interested in you trying to change its gears while it's switched off. Okay, cool. You're 29? Oh, you so young. Figured Jeeps would have a Jeep. You know what? You know what, Het? The next time I get an art commission and there's going to be a vehicle involved, you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a Jeep Wrangler. Because here's the thing, like, size-wise, my zebra's like 7 foot tall. Like, he is fairly big, but he's not so big that, you know, civil engineering fucking cries when they have to look at my zebra of just like, the portions are all wrong. Instead, like, you know, I would fit in a lot of things, I'd imagine. I'd fit tightly in some things, no worries, but, like, I feel like a Jeep, that just sounds like the best sort of thing. And you know, hang on, what does the Zoolander Jeep look like? Zoolander had a Jeep. I swear they had a Jeep. What is the Zoolander Jeep Party? This Jeep-like thing from Zoolander, what is... The Ford Bronco. Is that what it is? The first generation Ford Bronco from 1960. I'm gonna be real with you. The Ford Bronco, like, early years, it doesn't look too bad. The Ford Bronco of today looks like fucking shit. I don't know what it is about American, like, trucks. Like, stop making them bigger. You haven't made them bigger, you've just made them fatter. The bed is not bigger. The engine is the same power. It has the same towing capacity. It seats the same people, if not less sometimes. And it's just fatter for it. No, but what I said wasn't when it came out. I never knew it existed. It's just when it came out, I never existed. Oh. Okay, fair enough. Alrighty, we are now traveling. Thank God he's frozen in there and that we're out. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Thank God that he's frozen in there. Hang on a second. I think I know. You're talking about...
Okay, newbie. I'll keep this simple. You don't want to overwhelm that little brain of yours. You'll need a few things to rebuild the antenna at the garage.
You're talking...
First on the list is
this.
plasma.
You triggered a memory? Is it this memory?
Look for a research trailer or a spark tower. That's
You must agree to the YouTube terms of service to view this embedded. Open the Fraser Control Center Navigator Chat Tool Tips. Alright, click the chat settings. Why won't you let me... Alright, hang on. Refresh. Refresh the page. And then we go to the chat settings. If you'll let me, please. Hi there, guests. Welcome to the stream. 10 out of 10 moment in the multiverse. Look, Hanna-Barbera did the multiverse thing, I feel like, better than most people give it credit for. Like... The Flintstones crossing over with the Jetsons? Classic. And they didn't decide to do, like, a fucking, like, you know, television series of, like, oh, here's some time travelers fucking up with the day. It's just sort of like, no, time travel happened one time, and then we just agreed never to do it again. It's the one time, and we've never broken this rule.
Use it on the plasma generator, and it'll figure out the tools you need.
Okay. Just put you into park. Alrighty, so we got... Fuck is... Recommended tool...
Looks like it's ripe for the picking. Can't get at it with your hands, though. An impact hammer will do the trick.
Add to your crafting to-do list. Blueprints, impact hammer, gas cylinder, and some gears. Okay.
Find those materials by any means necessary. No one's coming back ever again, so go on and take what you need. Transports, homes, outposts, facilities, they've all been abandoned since the zone was decommissioned in 87. Most of those structures won't even be there the next time the instability scrambles the area. So loot to your heart's content. Just loot away.
Ah, okay. So we got all this shit. So ding, dong, ding. And another 9-volt battery. Stop making me bold! Ah! Also crackled a little.
They grow up so fast, don't they? And I'll be back at the helm. Been a long time, old gal. Didn't think we'd talk again after that whole...
Is it still crackling right now?
Incident.
Yes, I was hoping to go another decade without hearing your voice again. What, did you finally talk Francis to death?
Hello to you too, Oppie. And no, I'm still here.
Do I have what I need? I need gears. Where the fuck? Oh, gears can be refined by scrap metal. There we go. Alright, so... I just need to do it 2 times and it should be good. Alright, so I need a gear. 2. And... Oh, I need 1 more scrap metal now. Shit. Should be some in here. Pry bar. Alright. Inventory full. go. Yep, so that's in my hand right now. Oh, I see. Okay, so I need to move you down here. You down here. You across. You here. Look at me, chat, cooking with gas here. All right, there we go. Can't see shit. There we go. Need a scrapper. Okay. Alrighty, should have everything we need to make an impact hammer now. Okay, hang on. Don't tell me that the fucking...
The remnants by now.
Can you not? I'm a little busy trying to keep them alive.
I did not see like a
I'll
light
give you the
switch
basics, I
in
promise.
there.
They deserve to know what they're getting into.
Fine.
Alrighty.
I'm giving you 60 seconds.
That is not nearly enough time to get...
55 seconds and counting.
Okay. The remnants, in short, they're old objects that do all sorts of weird things. They bind themselves to people, and you're the latest victim. You and the car are inseparable now, so get acquainted. Once the remnant is bound to someone, they become gradually more obsessed with it. It takes over the victim's mind, until they go crazy and run off into the zone with it.
Alright, sweet.
No one has ever been able to resist its siren call. That fixation is probably worming its way into your brain as we speak. This is the first time we've ever got our hands on one.
But we know all about the past remnants, and oh gosh, this one time it materialized as an old copper kettle, and the tea that came out of that thing, it was...
And now I'm splitting the transmissions going to your receiver. Anything critical to your immediate needs will broadcast directly and immediately to your radio and headset. Anything not mission critical will be on a low priority frequency. Those transmissions will be recorded and indexed for you to listen to at your leisure.
And by low priority, I mean just about everything that comes out of Tobias's mouth.
Noted. Okay, so that was Tobias. Alright, what's danger? Hello? Oh. Okay, that would help. Let's have another quick look. Hello? We'll get through this lickety-split, don't you worry. Alright, so... Try not to break into the... There we go. Alright, so we're looking for plasma generators then. We need to look for multiples. Hey, it's daytime! Excellent. We don't have to... Oh. Fuck is that? Not right now, Chad. I'm trying to figure out the fuck that thing is. Doesn't really explain shit to me. Oh. Oh! Oh, no, no. Hey, get off me. No. Oh, shit. The fuck is that? Ow. Oh, shit. Okay, there might be some there might be something there. I don't want to poke it now. It kind of did some problems to me, and now I'm gonna have to... Hang on. Alright, note to self, plasmas. Alright, we're gonna need to get rid of that. There we go. Fuck you. Shit. Alright, hang on. Let me open you up. Carbureted engine. Stay there for a bit. Thank you, Code. You couldn't have given me a fifth one? Also, I keep using E to, like, grab things. Huh? There we go. Alright. I'm gonna get Grant at the socks, but yeah, shipping, so got him some fun games instead. Thank you, Benru, for the fun games as well. And yeah, that's the upsetty thing about being in Australia, I've learned. Even with the throne
like
wish
one of the
list...
old guerrilla radio stations. That ought to be prime pickings for antenna parts.
Alright.
I've loaded its approximate location to your map. Look for an antenna tower up on a hill somewhere.
Should... Cracked. And charged. Okay. Meanwhile, the trunk door is... iffy. Alright, so that's a steel sheet, that's a first aid kit, repair putty, however. Can we... Alright, assign to a quick slot. We're gonna assign you to a quick slot 4. Alright, let's throw you onto that. And you're fine. Wait, is the tire loose again? Tire is loose again. God damn it. Alright. Be mindful about the loose tire. Huh. Okay. Well, nothing's perfect, but... Alright, to drive. And let's get moving. I was gonna do the socks, but the shipping was way too much. If you could... I might get rid of those socks then. We might... Okay, you know what we need to... You know what we might need to do? I might need to make a, like an entirely new, like, throne, wish list. I might need to go back in, like, through all of my, thingy. No, Blue, shut up. I might need to go back through, like, my throne wish list and figure out, like, okay, if I want to add things onto it and not have a really high shipping cost, what would be the best way? Because... No, it's this fucking thing again. Okay, hang on. This way. Okay, so... We need to find a radio station. So... Here-ish? Well, there isn't really a point to put a... Oh, actually, there might be a point to put a waypoint, because then that way... And then there's buildings... Here I can go into... I haven't gone into these buildings before, so... Alright, hang on. Put you in the park. Alright, let's get out of here. Make a throne with your Amazon AU account, if possible, because it's free shipping with orders over $60. Okay, here's the thing. I don't think there is a way of link... Like, is there a way now to, like, link my... What does it want? Impact hammer. Oh, what do you know? Clear. There we go. Oh, hang on. Alright, let's have a look. So, anything good? Anything good? waste of time. Oh, hello. Yep, that's good. Alright, next place. Pry bar. I don't think we have any more pry bars, though. Yeah, our last one broke. And we don't exactly have room for another one. I'm going to need to... Wait, maybe I can put something in the car. Like, they gave me all these cardboard boxes, like... Hello? Let's have a look. Dink. Cardboard boxes. Hey! Alrighty, let's... Oh, wait, no, keep the road flares. Plasma, glass, the metal scraps, chemicals, electronics, the wire, rubber ducky, fabric, and that, which means we can now... Metal sheet. We can put you away. Which means we can probably now have a different... Okay, so I can put you there. Impact hammer goes there. And now... Can I get to the crafting... Okay, yeah, so 14 metal scraps. It's getting it from the cardboard boxes. So I can create another pry bar. There we go. Mechanics kit. You know what? I'm gonna... Let me get that thing sorted. Let's see. Where's my mechanics kit? There it is. Equipped. Oh. Put you down there. Yep. Alright. And then... There we go. Alright, you're good. Now let's go back in there and try to get... Ah, damn it, there's no more plasma. Alright, I know where to go. There it is. Give me that. Alright, gas canisters, chemicals. Yep, cool, that doesn't take up much spot. That doesn't take up much room at all. I swear I can navigate. At least for anything over $50. Yeah. If it does, like, allow me to link my Amazon account, that would be great, because I have Amazon Prime. We'll need to figure out. Payouts I find are better? Maybe. Maybe I'll do payouts in the future. We'll see how it is. For now, hang on. Let's have a look. So... Alright, we're gonna need to get out and move that away. Close this. Close that. No. In we go. Cool. Park. Go into drive. And... Alright, let's see if we can... Here we go. Oh, are you... Come on. I don't know how exactly to repair you properly until we're... Alright, let's have a look. So... Oop. Ah, that thing is going to be a piece of shit. Excuse me 1 second. Exactly. Carbureted engine, battery is fine. Like, can't really... Yeah, okay. Let's walk, there we go. I probably don't have, like, a lot of road flare, so we'll need to be a bit... Alright, ding, 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 ding. There we go. Whoop, hang on. No. It just kept popping up to the diggy I had. Okay, so same sort of format as the last, where really the only thing that's probably going to be of... donk. Go. Pressurized canisters? Okay. Alright, I can fuck with that. A light mechanical kit. Alright, let's move... Alright, let's move yous down here as such. There we go. I love how this thing is a flashlight. Oh. An abductor. Your car is your shield. Crafting, driver preparation, zone preparation. Abductors. Dear Maggie, once again, I miss you and the kids so much. I'm sorry I haven't written sooner, but it's just been crazy out here. I've had a few moments right now, so I figured it would be good to put pen to paper. I hope you don't mind the handwriting being so wiggly, but me and the guys are in a bit of a pickle right now. You see, our van got pulled up into a tree, I'm afraid. I can't explain exactly what happened, top secret things and all, but we're safe. Trust me on that. We also have 2 hours to wait before our rescue comes, hanging 50 feet above the ground and right on a ridge. I'll send this as soon as we get back to the barracks and write you a much better letter after. But in the meantime, here's a picture I sketched out while we were waiting. If there's one thing we have up here, it's a heck of a view. Ah, good for you, Joe.
That radio station's up on a hill somewhere.
Yes, I know about the radio station.
Eyes to the horizon.
Yeah, just give me a minute, okay? I just need to... Alright, I can probably put you and you... Because these are specific to the car, and really, this isn't. Yeah, okay, cool. Close you. I'll need to... Oh, hang on. Because that thing is going to blast me. Spark tower. Thought so. Alright, let's get moving. Oh, wrong thing. Hang on. Impact hammer. There we go. Is that everything? Yeah, that's everything. Ooh. Alright, how much... I shouldn't have too... I should have some fuel. Hopefully you get a better light source later. Probably. Like, for all... I hope it's not the headlights. I'm gonna be real with you. Hang on, do I have... Alright, how much fuel do I have? I'm near... Alright, hang on. Alright. Let's fill this... We'll fill this can up, and we'll have it in case of emergencies. So, rather than, like, you know, desperately looking for it, we'll have, like, a full tank. Okay, the jerry can isn't full, but, you know, it's better than nothing. We'll find another, like, car or something like that, no doubt. And we'll just have that as our thingy. Alright, put you away. Close the door. Is this honestly what long drive is about? Is like you just... Oh, hang on. You just drive about and shit? Okay, so that wasn't a problem. Also, I understand there's this red blinking light here, but... Oh, those are just mannequins. Okay. Could you... No, give me a... Tourists. Okay. No biggie. horror games are great and all, but I think a real good horror game would be able to talk in the daylight too. That would be takes place in the day. This is taking place in the day. I don't know what you're on about. Like, this is taking place in the day. We're having a spiffy of a time. Alright, hang on a second. I'm gonna pull up into this Igdens. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure this is the side where my... Hey, what do you know? You're a hungry motherfucker, aren't you? Oh, there's two of you. Okay, okay. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, we're not gonna have any shortage on glass, I imagine. We've already grabbed our information about the Spark Tower. Huh. Don't get eaten by carnivorous bunnies. Noted. I will try not to. Once again, pressing the wrong buttons. Score. Okay. Damn it! Ah! God damn it, code! God damn, Big Dan's! You got me. It's all Arda's fault. Noted. Oh my god. Can I push this? The fuck is that? Is there something going on out here? Nah, it says the whole thing is stable. Alright, let's keep going. Oh wait, hang on, I turned it off. Oh, come. Fuck was that? I do not know how I looked when I got spooked. Like, I know I have the AR thing on me, but it's like being absolutely focused and such. But... Alright, cool, we're going the right way. Stop panicking, please. Oh, my rear tires. Hang on a second. What's wrong with you? Spare tire? Summer tire. Alrighty, will be better than... Okay, I'm gonna need a new one of those. Scrapper. There we go. Jumper cables, mechanical kit, ceiling kit, crude door, crude panel, crude bumper, carbureted engine, a crude headlight requires road flares, rear bumper. Oh, cracked. Okay, hang on. Okay. Let's get you a bumper. There we go. Go. Let's see, ceiling kit, mechanics kit. Impact hammer. Alright. Check out. Oh, wait, no, I'm missing a door. That's why it's telling me a door is open. Stupid. Can't exactly fix my... Can't exactly close a door if it's not open. Excuse me while I'm just gonna... Damn it. I was kind of hoping not to cause damage. Alright, there we go. That way, if I need to do a quick getaway, I'm facing the right direction. Crude panels, wrecked car... Alright, cool. Also, you can go in there to save me room. Broadcast transmitter. Damn, dumpsters can hold a lot. I keep using space. Because I need to use, like, space for that, but... I only need to, like... Oh, maybe there's, like, a transfer all I could be using. Oh, I see. So that's for the... Nah, can't go up ladders. Alright, let's get the broadcast transmitter then.
Time to get moving. The instability's ticking up by the second. But you can't get back the way you came. The instability makes all routes one way. And that's where my arc device comes into play. It'll get you back to the garage, but it needs to be charged first. And to do that, you'll need anchors. Take a look at the arc device display. It maps all anchors in the nearby area.
Find an anchor and feed it to the arc device to charge it. But don't you worry your pretty little head about how it works. You'll be out of here soon, so there's no reason to learn more about limb technology than you need to know.
Alright, so there's a big one over there we can go for. It's fairly close. Let's go for it. Oh, my health is low. Hang on. Let's do it. Oh, hey, car. That thing. That thing we saw before. Is that it? Oh, come on. The tiny test.
Hey, Hoppy, look, I keep thinking, the way you're helping our friend here right now seems positively helpful. Seems like me. You're looking to turn a new leaf or something?
The only thing I want to look at is a 12-year-old whiskey. And the back of this breacher's head when I send them. Those anchors may look like glowing balls of magic, but it's limb tech through and through.
Don't be scared. They haven't exploded in anyone's face recently.
The arc device is charged and ready. You'll use it to open a gateway back to the garage, but it will immediately collapse the stability around you. So only activate when you're absolutely ready to leave. You do not want to get caught in the storm that follows.
Alright.
You see that glowing pillar into the sky? Drive into it. Yes, it looks like hot death, but it's so much better than getting scrambled by the instability.
Okay, fair enough. Let me try and get there without, you know, destroying my car. Come on. No. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why couldn't you have been a Jeep? Alright, we're driving backwards. Oh, wait, no, we're driving forwards. Oh, Jesus. Stable. Nice.
Oh, well, well. You're alive. We're certain if the zone didn't get you, that gateway would. Did I not mention that you're the first human I've sent through that thing? I mean, they've been rodents, but it's not like it's completely untested. But anyway, it worked. So, you should have made it back
I'm
with
alive.
everything you collected out there. That's the beauty of the gateway. It's the only way to get back with all your marbles intact. Now, take those parts you found into the back room.
I'll let you use my fabrication station. For now. That station will concoct ways for you to rig up anything from roof racks to flare guns. Assembling an antenna with those parts you brought back should be easy as pie, but it requires anchor juice to work its magic, so bring back as many as you can. And just because I haven't used that garage in decades doesn't mean you can trash the place. Mess up my equipment and I'll throw you to the anomalies so quick you'll get whiplash. We clear?
Okay. So, scanning antenna. Ah! Alright, so now I need to put it on the roof somehow. How do I do that? Oh. Thank you. So I can put you there. Rubber. Headlight, I can put you here. So that's crude. That's just a headlight. Panel, let's see. Where's a panel missing? Far back right, so this here. There we go. Yep, fuel is fine. Door could be repaired a little bit. Alright, thank you. Alright. So. How do I... Oh, I see. Alright, we got a zone scanner now. Holy shit, it's tall. Oh, wait, no, it isn't. Okay.
Antenna signals coming through loud and clear. Give it a moment to initialize.
I could probably turn you off, to be frank. Hello? Get the handbrake. Cool. I was kind of doing... Oh, would you look at that? You give me a panel and a bumper and all kinds of things. Holy crap, that thing's huge. Okay. I guess I'm putting it...
Make sure to empty your trunk before heading back out. You'll need the space.
Cookie for Bookie! Here's your cookie, Bookie! I'm playing as, like, an Adductus Mechanicus, I feel. Just throwing fucking goo and shit onto... Oh, I'm missing a panel. Okay. That'd actually be useful. Alright, put you here, like so. Alright, here we go. Nyam. And then panel will go here. There we go. Oops, goop. Yep, it's goop. Don't worry about the goop. Alright, so we got canned food. Oh, it gives me health. Nice. Putty, we'll put you there. We've already got, like, a bumper and putty. Hey, nice. Transfer junk. Use the transfer trunk to unload. Yep, okay.
And we're patched. Everything's in working shape, more or less.
Is there...
I've hooked up the antenna to the route
transfer
planner.
materials. There we go.
After you're done peeping through my garage.
Nice. Transfer. And then... transfer you. Transfer... I'll transfer... And then... from the trunk... transfer materials in. So then that way... Hey, there we go. Rock and roll. Light replacement kit. How many breaches does it take to change a light bulb? We're about to find out. Cookie for Bookie once again. You're heading out, Subject Omega? Not to worry. Thank you for coming in Thank you for coming in and checking out the stream and what have you. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful time. Alright, tend to your wounds at the first aid station. We need to put this trunk somewhere. Alright. We need to repair the car, fill the tank. There we go. I don't know why you... So, where would I put this trunk, then? Like, do I just leave it here? Carbureted engine, crude light, spare tire, route planner, summer tire with a loose, you know. I just, like... Okay. Matter deconstructor. We need gears and scrap metal. Bulb. Survival tools can give us liberators. Less precise than a cutting tool. Cleanly and carefully remove individual sections of a vehicle by precising... that seems a bit much. Anchor radar. Give off an unmistakable unique that could easily be detected, and this is your equipment. Magnetic hammer. Lights. Relightable flare. Crafting that and then using thingamadiggy. Flare gun. Bioflare. Side floodlights. What the automobile... Okay. So this is what we need. Nice. There we go. Alright, and then... yep. Again, where do I put this? Because I don't exactly have the... I'm not the smartest tool in the shed right now. Dunk, and dunk. Nothing happens. Cool. Oh, neat. Okay. Materials and summer tire. Cool. I probably should have read the logbook. Made it back before heading out. Consider repairing any damaged car parts. Unload the supplies you gathered. Crafting new thingamadiggies. Okay. Movement. Planning a drive. Additions, foundations, stats, auto shop. Transfer trunk. Extra moving capacity is exactly what you'll need after those long, deep... Now you can transfer all your... With thanks to this portable... Okay, cool. Scans the zone. Low-tech, low-maintenance method of communicating and delivering their endure... Where so many advanced have not. Fabrication, scanning... Why buy it when you can slap it together? The friendly dumpster, parking sensor. Okay, so I put it in the locker. Okay, so I'm meant to be putting it in the locker. Okay. So I'm meant to be putting it in here then. Okay. And then I can grab you and then... Well, hey! Look at that! And there we go. Drop you down there. Close the door. Bless you. Alrighty then. So, we need battery jumpers. Okay. Dunk. Battery jumper. Requiring 9-volt copper and electronics. There we go. This may not be the best improvised flashlight the world has ever known, nor is it likely to even meet the even lenient safety standards. May even singe your eyebrows. It does kind of work, though. Do you pay 2 for the smothering tide and 2 for the heuristic study? Nah. Can't catch me with that gay shit. Alright, jumper cables, we'll put you in there. Flashlight, we'll put you here. There we go. And then I can... Alright, so 1. We're gonna make you... 2. So 1, 2, 3. Let's make you 4. There we go. And now we just need to repair the car. Rear panel and right tire. Alright, let's have a look. What's wrong with the right tire? Okay. And then rear panel. Alright, fair enough. I know what we need to do. Alrighty, so this one here. Repair. But just there we go. And then you. Almost. Okay. Let's see. What's a critical piece? Let's make. Actually, hang on. This and put you back up here. You there. All right. We now need to reach Saram. Wonderful.
Ready to make this remnant verification a one-and-done thing? I'm sending you to visit Colossal Cappy. If that old anomaly doesn't induce electromagnetic resonance in your car, then we're free from Tobias's fever dreams and we can get you out of here. With that antenna fixed, you can now detect stabilized road junctions in the outer zone. You've got a stable route heading straight to Cappy's front door, but the energy readings are off the roof. I advise you not to take the zone lightly. You better gear up or you may not survive the trip. Which would make my life easier, so... Your call.
So, atmospheric shifts low. It's normal. Low radiation. No zone. Resource density, none. The ever-changing conditions in the zone can drastically alter both the environment and the way things you may encounter out there. Be sure to plan ahead. Junction stability and anchors, fine. Alright, let's give this one a go. We'll get there in 6 hours. Alright. Skid on demand. Alright. Yep, I'm fine with control. Yep, sounds good. Oh, hang on, wrong way. Need to be going to the left. Gotta ask, are the zones randomized to each run is different? I think they are, but the point is that we're trying to get, like, further, like, away or deeper? I'm not entirely certain. Yeah, so we're trying to get to there, and yeah, it looks like our route, we can choose to, like, drop into here, where we're gonna find, like, wrecked cars and, abductors, stable anchors, or we can go here straight to Saram, which has, you know, a few more resources. So, wait, can we not, like, just... Oh! Okay, so we travel to one location. Pay attention to topography and features on your map. One wrong turn could cost you everything. Noted. And then we go to... why is it... Perpetual stability. Okay, so this will stay perpetually stable. And we just need to... Yeah, we just need to... probably pick up some stability, pick up those, like, orbs, and then we can, you know, be on our way. Although... What is that? Shakers. Alright. I wish I could scan from, like, within the car. Rather than, like, jumping out of it. Okay, so we can take a detour south to get ourselves, like, one of these things, and then continue making our way north might be our best option. It'll put a little more miles into the trip, but I reckon that will give us the opportunity to, you know, arrive in Saram either close to the end of the night or at the start of the day. Oh. We might not be able to go that way, then. Alright, let's turn back around and continue on with the main path. Hopefully we won't have any problems. That's just as bad. I'm sorry, is this thing a fucking... Can openers and left and rights, okay. Okay, it does more than just flipping left or right then. I do like the music though. I think we'll keep the radio on. Helps like fill in the silence as I go through this generated zone. So yeah. So they might not be like, you know, purposefully random. They might just be a case of like, oh, there's so many different zones and they're like tailored with like these sorts of resources and what have you. So yeah. Uh-huh. None of these can be broken down, I see. Look, I know I can, like, cut... I understand this thing gives me the opportunity that I could just, like, cut through this, but considering, like, there's just, like, a hill going off there, and we're gonna be right beside another... Oh, actually... Let's be a little bit interesting, shall we? Because obviously that's the hill going up. Should be okay. Yeah, look, there's the road down there. Come on. Come on. No, keep it. Keep it going. Keep it. Keep it. There we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, you're a good little station wagon. There's no problems with you. You're fantastic. Great work. Oh, hello. What's you got? Spare tire? Sure. I'll take your rubber and your plastic. Duct tape is always good. Alright, yep. Yeah, you're nearly empty. Alright, okay. Waste too much time with you. Transfer materials. Once again, I tried accelerating while in park. I'm just making mistakes as they come along. Let's have a look at this place. Oh, hey, look at that. It's got a little cone on it. All right. Pry bar. Yep. Can I take the guitar? Well, that was a waste. Ooh, a lot of good resources though. Yep, should be good. No, don't throw it. Alright. Let's put that stuff away. There's no need for us to hold on to every single piece of, what's in the koozies. Alright, Where's that abductor again? Alright, should be good to head into the next part of town. Oh, wait, going the wrong way. I need to be going that way. So, what are we thinking, chat? I know I haven't like listened to like all the different like radio beats or anything like that that have been sent from our other like guy on the radio, but oh hey, a ramp. I know we haven't like listened to like all of them or what have you, but between like this game definitely gives me long drive vibes, like with the whole like, oh, you can, you know, like you're driving around doing all kinds of things, and it's like really all about like trying to get to point A and point B. But with like the long drive, it didn't seem like there was much of a point B to go to. Whereas like with this one, looks like there very much is. Looks like there's very much is a excuse me. Looks like there's very much is like a point A, sorry, a point B we're going to. And even after we get there, we have a little bit more to, you know, explore. If I was a more chatty zebra, I probably would definitely have this, like, running as a game while I stream at the same time and have it as, like, sort of a background for discussions and such, but whenever I'm in a car, like, I just sit quietly. I'm gonna need the lights on.
God, Sierra, Never wanted to think
hi,
about this
Alfie.
place ever again. Head toward town. Colossal Cappy is smack dab in the middle of where Sierram used to be. You can't miss it.
All this paint for $5.99. Okay, I'm guessing we're going to that green, you know, Aurora Borealis.
Is there a reason you're driving straight towards the largest honking anomaly in the zone?
Tobias?
You wanted to know if there's a speck of remnant energy in that car? This is how you do it.
You're using Cappy to amplify the remnant signal. That's insane.
Is that what we're doing?
Driver, are you sure about this?
Well, they'll be fine.
It's not fine. Look at those radiation spikes that Colossal Cappy's still giving off after all these years. To achieve any sort of resonance, the driver's going to have to get right up against Cappy.
I get you, Francis, but Oppie's got a point. Any remnant energy lingering in the car is too weak to detect with conventional methods.
Really? You're gonna take her side?
This isn't about sides. That's a good plan.
I won't risk someone's life just so we can log another remnant sighting.
The driver can make their own decision. I'm not forcing them to do anything.
For all I care, they can lay down and wait until the instability takes them.
That would get them out of my hair much faster than all of these shenanigans.
Alright. Aurora Borealis. In this time of year, in this time of town. Located entirely in your little backyard. Well, yes. May I see it? No. Nixia, living in Australia, if there's one thing to know, it's the fact that Australians love their they love The Simpsons, but they love the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons. They're not a huge fan of like the later stuff, but they love the earlier stuff because that was just something that was like played on their televisions like every night at 5 or something like that. And the only other thing like worth watching was like MASH before then. So I feel like that's a global thing. The latest Simpsons are just not it. It's not that the Simpsons just aren't it. It's not like a nostalgia thing. It's that the first 10 seasons are like, you know, to this day still being like, you know, played on Australian television. Like Channel 10. Like, here's the thing. The Simpsons is technically a weekly show, but Channel 10 has the episodes running daily. They have so much syndication going off. Alright, oh, Jesus. Okay, I guess you do that. I'm guessing we're going into that little thing?
Huh. No response. Maybe you need to get closer to Cappy's core way up there. Can you find a way to high ground?
Are you sure? Not exactly. Oh, Jesus. Got nothing. Here we go. No, come on. Alright, let's try it now. Come on. Accelerate. And come on, get to the... God damn it. Alright. Drive. Dang. I need to get to that ramp there. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna need to like try and find like a lower incline. Because, yeah, that one might be too steep. Oh. Alright. Time to start looking for a long way. Alright, let's try the road. Oh, some right and left nonsense. Wait, that can't. Could it? Alright. You love MASH? I like MASH too. I actually went through... So, which version of MASH did you get? Because one of the versions of MASH... Because there's two versions of MASH. There's the British release, and then there's the international release. The British release of MASH had, it did not have a laugh track on it. But if you got the international or American release, there was a laugh track on it, because they were like, oh, you need such a thing for an electrician's kit. Okay. Or nope, never mind. That just broke my door. All right. Oh, I need gas and a gear. God damn it. All right. Shoot there. Light replacement. A hand vac. Jumper cables. I just broke my thingy-majiggy. Gas, scrap metal. Okay. Is there a way to... Yes, there is. Cool. Here we go. We have no laugh track one in here. Okay, so yeah, you got so the one that's being distributed in Australia, that one has a laugh track, which was really odd for me when I was able to get like the full season, you know, via my own means, and there was no laugh track. I was like, huh, what's up with that? Like, all right, hang on. So light housing. Pneumatic tube deposit. Okay. Sodium vapor. Oh, hang on. I have the vacuum. Hang on. Hello. There we go, and then light bulb goes into there. This is an alright. This is alright. It does have a little bit of a feeling of, like, I'm probably gonna have to put in a lot more time into it, and there is no, like...
Wasn't there an old bridge around there somewhere? Maybe that'll get you the height you need.
I'm looking for the bridge right now, so... I'm just taking the long way to get to it. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. One. Just gotta give it a quick fix. It's such a classic in here that they keep playing it on one of our main TVs every day for years now. It's the same sort of thing in Australia as well. We had it because, once again, it's a TV show that was probably, like, you know, syndicated originally for like a once-a-week thing, but what actually happens is it gets played like daily where we are. Alrighty, that will have to do unless... Hello? There we are. Just needing to get some... There we go. Rubber, plastic. Hey, we got some scrap metal that time. I do need an overhead light. I'm trying to think what are some other, like, daily TV shows for, Oh, hello. Easy. There we are. I'm trying to think what might be some other TV shows that are, like, played daily for us. My brain doesn't have a really good idea right now, but it's gonna come to me, don't you? Bold and the Beautiful, or Days of Our Lives. I think those two have done it. Those ones, I think we get daily episodes, despite the fact it's like now a weekly thing. Here we go, chat.
Well, now it's the truth be told. It ain't the first time the devil's been in this hole. How long do you think that I met these kids? My 45 say 666, 45 say 666, and my 45 say 666, my 45 say 666, my 45 say 666.
Alright, let's try this again. Round 2. Ah, shit. Alright. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. I'm alive. I'm alive. We just need to get through the mud.
Car's still not close enough to Cappy.
What now?
How about, launching the car into Cappy's core? What?
No.
It's simple. The driver jumps the car
into the heart of the anomaly. And if I time it right, I'll open the gateway and extract them.
And if you don't?
I've run some calculations. I think it should be fine. Anyway, it's like they always say. What's an experiment without some risk of total
annihilation?
Who says that exactly?
In no way, shape, or form should we be doing this.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
you know, if it's the only way. Yeah, you got this, kid, for it.
Here's the problem. There is a full-blown, like, barrier here. Idiots. Alrighty, here we go. Get some resources while we can. You gotta have to grab the entire radio soundtrack from this game. And you like it? Hey, that's pretty good. I'm vibing to it as well, passively. It's some nice, like, filling in music for sure. Okay. First question, how else was this car going to get in here while there was a circuit gate? Because I don't have a solution for that. Unless there's like a random button. Oh, we need to open the grid from to access the bridge. Oh, yeah. Sup. Thank goodness thank goodness there's like a guide in the top right for me. Alright, so... Yep, that opens the barrier. Transmitter. Pressurized cartridges into plastic. Okay. Interesting. Scrapper. Hey, scrap metal. That's what we wanted, isn't it? Scrap metal is what we wanted. Trash can. Let's have a look. Eat the food. Radio? There we go. More electronics. Uh-huh. Arctic crate. Backpack. Hey, the backpack's nearly the same as ours, except ours has like these little extra thingy-majiggies on the side. That's cool. Transmuter. Ah, okay, so it's a transmuter. God damn. Damn transmuters. Mutable transmuters. Transitioning mutable objects. Let's see. Chemicals? Oop. Alright, that's everything from that. Hi there, Freckles. Welcome to the stream. I'm going through something called Pacific Drive. It's marked to me as a survivor horror. Hopefully I did set it as Pacific Drive. And, so far, it's been fairly alright. It's been fairly... it's been fairly, like, sort of interesting, passive, like, consumption for me. I'm not 100% certain if I would, like, you know, play this more than once now on stream, just because, I don't know. The thing I look for in video games is one where it's like, yeah, it takes my attention and what have you, which, you know, which this does for me. It does a little bit of the whole, like, you know, grabbing my attention, keeping me interested in what have you. But, like, let's be real, a lot of that comes down to the fact that it's your the survivor genre is a bit of a dirty... Oop. Oh, shit. What the fuck? Ah, okay, so it runs out. Okay, I'm gonna need to... I thought the flashlight would last a little bit longer than that. The hell is that stuff? Pothole. Another tourist. Go, and then pry bar. Yep. Gas canister, pressurized canister. Nope. Oh my god, what the fuck happened? Okay, we're not gonna stick around there. We're gonna go back to the main mission of, like... Okay, this is gonna sound insane when I say what the main mission is, but to confirm that this thing is a remnant or something, we're about to drive into an anomaly. This spells danger.
Oppie! Anytime now, Oppie!
Successfully test Oppie's theory. What if we're dying every time this happens? Oh, jeez! No, no, no!
Damn it, you piece of crap. Come back on already. Can you hear me? Cappy fried my transmission systems. Thought I lost you for a moment. Well, it all worked out, didn't it? The gateway got you out, and it looks like the ARC device is still intact with all the data it's recorded from your drive.
Yeah.
And
all it took is a near-death experience
Cappy amplified
again.
the car signal and it matches. Looks like Tobias and Francis found their remnant after all.
Battery low,
Unfortunately, what they've been
fuel
saying
low.
is true. The remnants drive their victims mad. Maybe that car, having sat dormant for this long, will give you a little more time. Sorry, I don't have better news for you.
7 Trumpets by
I'm
Michael
still game to
Ray.
get you out of here. The faster you leave, the longer you'll have to enjoy the rest of your sanity.
Alright, more
None of the
going into
routes you've mapped so
locker.
far leads to a way out. Why don't you head back out and chart some more? You can get in touch with Tobias and Francis while you're out there.
Yep. Oh wow, we nearly were... Oh yeah, we were nearly out of fuel then. So yeah, definitely a Survivor sort of game. I'm glad it's not asking me to, like, build... Like, granted, this is still early days, so far it's not asking to be like, oh, hey, you need to, like, combine these 2 advanced materials in order to make this next thing. Instead, like, so far it's just been a case of, you know, still sticking to, like, base material and then 1 constructed thing, rather than, like, say, base material and, like, 3 constructed things. Don't know why this thing would try and... Alrighty. So... Status monitor, let's have a look. Visit the friendly dumpster. The left rear tire needs to be repaired. We're gonna need some putty as well. What's wrong with this tire here? Is it... Yeah, it's left rear. So we just need to repair it. Okay. I don't think I have any more repair putty is the thing. No, I do not. Yeah, this game is definitely going to be reliant... This is the thing. If you've seen me play, like, Minecraft and such, one of the most common things I, you know, accidentally get drilled into my head is the whole, just collecting resources. Like, I will just do this so often. I'll just sort of be like, oh, I need to grab this. Oh, while I'm here, I should grab that. Oh, we need to grab this next time, so I'll just grab it now. Like, there's just so much of me just grabbing things. It's just me, like, forever, like, collecting things. It's never enough, like, just, you know, collecting everything I need. Alright, so we got a summer tire, we got a crude panel. I'm gonna put the panel and the bumper here, because we can probably break them down into something else. Low-tech, low communication delivery.
If you want to, I can be there for you and pick
Nothing
up
new.
all
Okay.
of the pieces, drag them.
Alrighty, so
I can
let's
be
get another impact hammer.
pick up all of the pieces, sort them out, and lift you up somehow.
Alright, so we need to still repair everything. Gonna need some putty. A lot of it. Actually, hang on a sec. Let's see if the friendly What's-a-Mahoozy has something for us. If I can see him. Fabric. Chemicals. Thank you. I appreciate it. Crude panels. Summer tire. Computer. So yeah, there's gonna be... I'll most like... If I was to continue playing this, I would definitely do it while, like, off stream, because there's just gonna be so much of me just spent collecting more resources and feeling like I need to get, like, everything out. Dunk. Throw you in there. Yep, cool, I can combine you. I'll just sort of be like, oh, I need to get this done. I need to grab these things. I will, like, I'll very rarely actually continue on with the main quest if I don't feel like I've 100%ed the car or something like that. And when I'm on stream, that plays havoc because normally, if I'm on stream, I like to try and keep a balance of, you know, main progression and fucking about. I don't want to... Alright, hang on, let me just light you up. Let's see, is there anything there isn't? I can't get into the porta potty for whatever reason. Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, so we got plenty of road flares. Alrighty, repair putty. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it uses chemicals. 7. Alrighty. So you're fine.
Let me tell you about Johnny.
So yeah, this would... I would definitely play this again, like, after, Nothing's, like... The only things that are severely... Okay, what's wrong with you? I need a mechanics kit for that. Sealing kit.
He tells me he's 93. When all this 485 say 666.
Alright.
Don't believe in the crucifix. All this 485 say 666. 485 say 666.
Okay, why can't I have... Okay.
He walks around with his girl on his arm. It's been 2 years
Let's
gone
use
from
the last
farm.
one you then.
In the big city, living just like Bonnie and Clyde. Turning tricks of the devil and the dollar sign. Turning tricks of the devil and the dollar sign. He tells me he's 93.
Alright, I need to get some sealing kit.
When all this 485 say
Alright, so that uses this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sick in the hands of a witch. 485 say 666. 485 say 666. 485 say 666.
Where's the...
Well, now if the truth be told, it ain't the first time the devil's been used.
Oh, okay, so I need a... So it's a one-time use. Okay. Alright, let's see how many... Yep, fixes all of them at once. Cool. And then... I need a mechanics thingy-majiggy for that one. So wait, what's wrong with... Okay, so the door's fine. I just need the mechanics kit for... there we go.
On the corner of the block where we all came from.
Mechanics kit, there we go. Tongue fixed. There we go. Alright, alright, so sealing kit, you can go in there. 2 sealing kits, go in there. Alright, I'm gonna keep... I'll give this 3. So sealing, 3. Putty, 3. I'm gonna put the putty and the sealing in there. This occasion has not popped up, so I'm gonna grab you. And then... Dunk. Alright. Sealing, light, repair. You go there, you go there, you go there. Alright, should be good. Okay, so there's a limit to how much a single thingy-majiggy can hold. Alright, let's vacuum up everything. Bumper up there. Ah, I see, so it might have... Could there not be a light bulb in here? Alright, fabrication station, let's see. Matter deconstructor, requiring scrap metal and a gear and a bit more stable energy, it seems. Alright, so we're gonna need to get more of that. Refining, light replacement. Oh, okay. So we can do, like, research into things. So refinement gives us a bulb, to a steel sheet, to circuit, to carbon, to a limb chip. Yeah, all of these require... And then these are survival tools. We've already got a hand vac. I'm not too worried about that. The blowtorch. Repairing damaged metalwork. It's not durable enough to last long, but it'll help with basic repairs on the road. And then a limpum torch. Plasma scrapper. Missing ingredients. So we need... Okay, so we need again... So all kinds of stuff there. Side floodlights. So we need a side rack in order to unlock that. So that would do steel bumper, steel panels, steel door, which would require steel. But we need steel sheet in order to use that. This gives us the tire, which they can then give us off-road, on-terrain, power grip, puncture-proof, and paddle tires. Side racks. Need to research steel sheets then. Side racks again to give us side storage, a trunk and a trunk. And then fuel gives us synthesizer, a backseat, expanded, leak resistant, gas reservoir, plasma charger. Limb pulse emitter. Carefully calibrated device capable of starting randomly timed electromagnetic thousands of times. Makes it extremely difficult to hold onto or harm the vehicle. Scan a bunny anomaly. Okay. Carbureted engine. Turbo light engine. Ah, it gives me more horsepower and things. But I need to research the metal sheet. Might as well get started on learning new things. And I need more fabricated stuff. There we go. Steel sheet is mine again. Nothing available for us. That's fine. Aw, you got me a scrapper. Thank you. I'll keep good care of it. Hang on. Alright, so this is the loved one. This is... Alright, I'll keep both of these, because this one's about to break. Alrighty. So we're about good for everything. But it's past 9 o'clock right now, and I imagine there's like a whole ton of people that are a little bit sleepy right now. So what we'll have to do is I am gonna pause the game there, and we're gonna call it a night here. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm not 100% certain if I would play this again on stream, just because like I'm playing this and I feel like I'm like a little bit, you know, too absorbed sometimes when it goes off. And like the only time there was I'd feel compelled to respond or something like that was when I had to like be a silly manager of like, oh hey, do not be giving me tips on how to play this game or something like that. But then, you know, there was sometimes like some random moments like the Aurora Borealis and then just having a little bit of a jive about television. That was really great. I really appreciate everyone who's stuck with me through that. Moto Tank, despite the rocky start, I thank you for being here. Valkyrie, thank you for for being here. Freckles, thank you for joining in at the end. Blue, thank you. You did nothing as a moderator. Let's see. Subject Omega, they had to go to sleep. That's fine. Bookie is probably asleep. I think, yeah. Let's have a look at who is online, because I always finish off my streams with a raid. I feel like those are, because like two purposes they serve. One is either to, like, you know, raid into like rather large names and be like, oh hey, I had just been streaming and shit, or we go into smaller streamers, so then that way it's just a fun little thing. Galaxy Cat is on. All right, let's have a look. Who is Galaxy Cat? All right, Galaxy. Wait, no, hang on. Galaxy. Are you meaning Galaxy Cat TV with like the 777? Why? Okay, this might be pissing off. This might piss off unnamed, but why do you add numbers? Why do you feel like adding numbers to your names? He's also an artist. Ooh. Speaking of artists, actually, there is someone who is still... Let's see, they just started... What in the world? 8 minutes ago? What are they... What are they doing still up now? Okay. It would be funny if we raided... Okay. There is... Alright. This isn't a cat, but there's a fox. This fox has been responsible for at least 2 pieces of commissioned art. One, I think, was technically a gift, and the second one was one I commissioned from them. I need to commission them again someday, but that's, like, right now I'm trying to save money, and I'm doing fairly okay. I've only, like, I've kept myself to a relatively, like smaller budget with my food and such like that. But yeah, Hughie Fox is an Australian artist. Now, they love their buff men. So, like, just to put you out, just to keep you, don't think that this is going to be like some, oh, look, it's Mega and they're doing some really cute art or something like that. Nah, this is... Like, just to give you, like, some context, these are the tags they've picked. English, unholy, furry, LGBT, that's fine, gay, art, girthy, beef, and muscles. Those are some of the tags they've used. And, you know, GrantZeebs, I'm muscly, I'm girthy. So, I need to save money, once again, to try and commission them at some point in the future. But for now... I think it would be funny if we went on a little raid. I'm certain there's going to be some people here. Boobalicious, yes. I'm certain there's going to be some people here that will if you like this, if you like this Zeebs, you're going to love the art they do, okay? Let's see, what is our... We're just gonna go with, we're just gonna go with our classic himbo raid message. Himbo raid, show us your cutest guys, gals, and non-binary pals, or prepare to get swole. So, if you... I hope that my innocent, not safe for work focused eyes can handle it. Oh no, turn away, Valkyrie! It's nothing but sexy men! Turn away before it's too late! We're gonna be raiding into them shortly. Any hoosies, that is it for me tonight. Wednesday night, we're gonna go into Yakuza, we're gonna continue on with our Yakuza grind, which is Yakuza Kiwami 2. We're on to the second game. Well, this is our third Yakuza game in the grind, but it's technically Yakuza 2. Friday, we're gonna do Helldivers, because code isn't available for Baldur's Gate, and then Saturday is our party game stream where we play Monster Hunter World. It's open for anyone to join. I will set a separate Twitch message about it or something or other. But otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you'll join in with me for the raid into Hughie Fox.